All right, everybody, you want to see how fast we can set up a new character in our indie game called the Rend? That's what we're doing today. We are going to try to set up a new character to be used as part of our legendary mode or distorted weave mode. We tried last time. It did not go very fast. This time we're hoping to go a lot faster. My name's Kevin. We're making an indie game if you're just catching up. For everybody who's been following us, thank you so much for being part of this. Thank you for watching this video, helping spread the word, all those things. The character we're setting up today is a flying enemy called the Channeler. It's not called the Channeler, but it is a Channeler. It's going to buff all the characters in the game. If you don't kill it fast enough, it's going to make your life a whole lot more miserable or exciting, depending. I have a twist I want to do with this, so it could be a little bit fun. And with that, we're going to hop in and get going. So let's take a look at, hopefully we have all of our stream stuff set up properly this time. And we're going to get going. Now, one of the things, okay, that looks good. One of the things that I wanted to try to do was I wanted to try to show you all real quick where we landed last time. Oops, this is not where I want to be. Just to see kind of where Titan Stomp landed. So we're going to try that real quick. It may not work because I've been monkeying with the level, working on art a lot offline. And as a result, I may have broken the spawn point for Titan Stomp, but we'll see if it works. And then we'll get going on the... Okay, he's not spawning in the right spot. And I think it's because you can see this new bridge I put in, it's conflicting, but you're gonna hear him in a second. So that cry, that's the cry from Titan Stomp now. And what my guess is, he's, look at him, he's over, did we just crash? Is it recoverable? Okay, so he's back here. He is sitting on top of the world. And if he was in the right place, you can see the effect that's playing over here. He's not finding a good spot because of the changes I made to the nav mesh, but he's in there now. He cries. When he cries, you need to jump. Otherwise, things are not going to go well for you. So with that, let's get going. Also, if I didn't mention it because I'm a little now frazzled because of the stream stuff, this is an open conversation. You'll hear community members in here asking questions and saving my bacon on many occasions. But today, what we're doing is we're implementing the new channel. The Channeler is a flying enemy. Now, there are some issues with our flying enemies that are worth pointing out. So first, let's just get started. We need a new folder for our flying enemy. This is going to be the flying Manta. Okay? And the flying Manta is going to be a duplicate of the Vexera, basically. So if we take all of this stuff and we just drop it into the flying Manta folder as a copy. I want to point out, what? We lost our version control? Interesting. Log in real quick, connect to that, accept the settings. Wait, did it move that or did it copy it? Uh-oh. Okay, I copied it. Whew. Okay. So let's start with the blueprint. Actually, no, let's start with the texture. We can delete all of these. We don't need these. Okay, and let's import our new asset. All right, by the way, starting the clock at 12, 15, 20-ish is what we're going. We're going for 1 hour straight today. That's the plan. Okay, so we got flying C. This is going to be text. This is going to be flying Manta. Idle. This is going to be the 0 frame. And we're going to apply our 2D paper character settings. Then we're going to create a sprite from that. And with that sprite, we are going to create a flipbook. This flipbook is going to be our flying Manta idle. Okay, now, everything you see me doing right now is a huge conversation about naming. Imagine we did not call this the flipbook for flying manta. We just called it the flipbook idle. We would not have to rename anything in these folders if we did that. And with Unreal Engine, as long as in your settings you have include, and this is gonna be hard to see, just understand that over here on the right, in your search options under search, there's a thing there that says search asset path. So if you wanted to, when you're up here at the quest level, you could, if I type in idle, brings up all the idols for the game. But if I switch this and I simply add flying, now it's only gonna bring up flying idols. See what I'm saying? So we could technically use a naming convention that does not have all those prefixes, and then I wouldn't have to rename any of these things. However, there are a couple of, and this is a bummer to have a naming convention because of the lack of tooling, but there are some dialogues in Unreal Engine where when you open them, it doesn't allow you to do that search. And so if you had 50 characters and they were all called, let's just say we took this out and this was just called the flipbook idle. If I didn't have that filtering working, I would get 50 idols and I would have to pick each one till I found the right one. That is a surreal nightmare. So I'm kind of on the fence. Maybe for this project we should try it, removing the prefix, but let's just go ahead and call this, like, it just seems weird to me not to name this thing the blueprint for this character. So like if we call this blueprint char, like everything, or blueprint enemy or whatever, it would just, every enemy would be there. It just seems weird to me. So we're just gonna stick with this for now. But it would make renaming all this stuff, we do not need the projectile. It would make renaming all this stuff super easy. Now, that said, we can also create wizards that do this for us. It'll create a new enemy, it'll create all the assets we want, it'll set all the right naming, and we can use that as a start point, and that will be much faster for future us. But for now, we're just doing this. The other thing we can do is cancel. We can do a quick search and replace in here if we right click, so we can do all of these at once, and we do a, where is it? Batch rename, here it is. This is actually a great tool. If we search for Vexera and we replace it with this, it'll show us what it's going to be when it's done, so we can just apply that. Cool. So that's done. Now, a couple of things. We need, so our blueprint right now is pointing at the wrong stuff. What I mean by that is if we look at, the goal is to get the visual in, we need to get this thing in game and flying, and we're going to have a chat about some of the mistakes I made when I set up our first flying enemy, which should have been our second, but anyways. So first things first, let's change this to our Manta. Manta. All right, so now we have a flying Manta. We don't need this Niagara, and this is where we made the mistake. When we defined the flying enemy base class, we added, inadvertently, we added a bunch of character specific stuff to the base class. What I mean specifically is this V effect and this sphere is a defensive sphere that was meant for the Vexera, where if the player tried to get too close, it would shock them to keep them from just jumping up and attacking them, to kind of force range attack. We don't necessarily want that on every enemy. But the problem is, you can see here, if we go back to the flying enemy base, all of that is in flying enemy base. And we don't need all of that for this. So what we really need to do is we need to clean up our base class, change that to be just vanilla flying enemy, then rebuild the Vexera to have all of this logic in it. So there's a couple ways we're going to do that. I'm not going to try to do that in the stream right now. So for right now, we're just going to get rid of these visuals to make it clear. And then I'm not even going to worry about the whole overlap defense mechanism and stuff right now. If we have time at the end, I have some ideas for some quick fixes for that, and we will give that a shot. But for right now, let's not do that. Let's get our pawn data set up. Manta. And then let's go here, and we'll do this, and then we'll go compile that. Okay, so we have our blueprint. We have our state machine, which is currently being used. I don't know if that's even being used for the flying enemies. We may not even need that yet. We have our texture, our abilities. That is set up there. Okay, but this doesn't reference. Okay, so this ability set is currently referencing all the Vexera stuff. And the reason it's doing that is because even though we renamed it, it didn't go into the ability set to fix it. And this is a great example of when, even if we did use a name that was generic, we would still have to go in and point all these assets to the right thing. So it would be great if these were actually, if we did use a wizard, for example. So let's say 2D hero death, we're going to keep. Primary attack is the GA Manta primary attack. That is going to get changed. Defensive melee, we don't actually need. So we can just delete this. And we're going to delete that as well. Dive bomb, we also don't need. So we can delete dive bomb. So this thing really has just one attack, which isn't an attack. And then we have health. So the health for this guy is here. The damage, it's not really going to do damage, but we're going to fill it in. And then the combat is going to be here. Okay, so that should set up all of the stats and the abilities that this character has and so on. Now, if we go back to our stuff here, if we go to, let's switch our level. Oh. You know what? Let's do this the easy way to start with. And what we're going to do is, for testing purposes, for speed with the stream, we're going to make some modifications here. Okay, so we have our flying Manta. We have our blueprint. We have our texture. We haven't done our AI or abilities. That's fine. Let's just see if we can even see it in game. So to do that, let's go to encounters. We need a new spawn def for this guy. So let's take our spawn def. And we're going to go ahead and duplicate our Vexera. Oops. This is going to be flying Manta. And then in here, when we look at this data asset, we want to change this to the Manta. All that we can keep, that's fine. And now we have the ability to spawn it. Let's add it to our first wave. So let's just spawn this character in our first wave so we can test all the abilities. We're trying to fast track that for this stream. So to do that, in our pit encounter, we're going to make a temporary change to wave 1. And in our list of enemies to spawn, in our, let's see, 5-second delay, rather than spawning a melee, let's spawn our flying Manta. And let's just do that on a 1-second delay. We don't need very much. So we can save that. We'll check that out for right now. Eventually we're going to move this over to the distorted weave system, the legendary system. But let's just see if we even get, if we even get a flying enemy. So here's our little guys. We definitely, oh my goodness, he is gigantic. Okay, but he is flying. That's cool. He's flying, and there's a couple things. So we got a couple things. He's flying. It looks like his model might be facing the wrong way. So we got a little bit of work to do. But we got him. He's flying. Good job, us. Okay, so a couple things. Let's make him the right size. So, and we knew this was going to happen in our sprite. We never set any of our usual movement stuff or our settings in here. So this guy should have a custom pivot, and all of our characters use a 794 if they're set up properly. And Wait a minute. Am I in the right folder? Oh, wrong folder. Oops. Okay, so we're not changing that one. We need to be in the fly. Let's close this folder. We need to be in this one. This is the sprite we need to edit. And he is facing the wrong way. So we're gonna make that change as well. Let's see here. We'll keep this centered. Then it looks like the flying enemies, the center is in the center of the flying. So that's fine there. And then let's try 1.5. Let's double check. That will show in the idle flipbook. So if let's just go back to 2. Save. He's smaller now. So if we go 0.5 just to double check it, and we save, he's gigantic. Okay, yeah. So let's go 2. I think half the size is probably fine. Let's save that. Save that. And then what is the easiest way for us to do this? Let's grab Photoshop real quick. Photoshop.
Is he upside down?
He's not. He's not. No, he's got you can think of this as the downstroke. So these guys flap up and down, and his tail is. Here, we'll zoom in once we get him in Photoshop. At least not according to the concept. He's not upside down. Environment, art, character, NPC, swamp, flying sea, concept, open. So you can see here as we zoom in, he's got this is just the concept, otherworldly, but usually on a this was inspired by a manta ray, and these I forget what they're called on manta rays, but these usually face down. So his wings are currently down, and they will flap up like this and down as he goes. So he'll be flapping up and down. So he's just in his downstroke right now, which is what we're looking at. So if we just take this and unlock it, or let's duplicate it real quick. For some reason, I can't. What is it about this character that I cannot change this file? Okay, let's do this. You want to fight me? That's fine. I will win. We're going to go new file, create. We'll flip this. We'll flip this. What is the size of this image? In pixels. Gigantic. Yeah, it doesn't need to be that big. Okay, so we're gonna do that. Really what we should do is like we do with our other characters, this needs to be bigger, but for now we can just do this and we can get it at least facing the right way. Transform, flip horizontal. Okay, and we have no background. We can delete the background. We can save this as, will it let me save this as a PNG right here? No, it will not. Dirt. Man. Everybody's trying to make this fun. Okay, so PNG, no mat, save that, and then let's go back to our art folder, char, NPC, swamp, and this is gonna be our flying sea concept. We'll just put this in here, and we'll replace that. Cool, that should do that. That was a quick detour. I'm not even gonna save, that's how confident I am. Famous last words. If we go, I know that's gonna bite me. If we go back and we re-import this guy, he's facing the right way now, theoretically. Okay, so let's take a look at our sprite. Let's take a look at our sprite, cool. And when we play now, when that character spawns, he should face the player when he focuses. So if I'm on this side, he's facing the right way. If I come to this side, he turns to face the right way, okay? So that's cool. Now we got him facing the right way. All right, now this is where we start the work. Not bad, 20 minutes in, starting some of the ability work. That's cool. Okay, so that's good enough for now for a visual placeholder. blueprint is good. We're not worried about the stuff like that. We are going to change its primary attack. Now, we could continue to call this the primary attack, or we could redo it. It could be the primary ability, whatever you want it to be. The interesting thing is this currently inherits from weapon attack base. It's not going to work. That's not what we need. We need a whole new ability. So let's do this. Let's delete this guy. But we can't yet. Actually, no, let's not delete this guy. Let's just make a new gameplay ability. And Titan Stomp is a good one, I think. Let's copy that into Flying Manta. Copy here. And this is going to be GA Flying Manta Barrier. So my thinking is this enemy is going to grant shields. Okay, so we're gonna call this Flying Manta barrier or shield. Apply shield. Let's do that. Okay. Now, in what we're going to do is we're going to replace this with our Manta. Apply shield. And what we need to do, the way the ability system works is in order for this thing to trigger, the Manta is applying its primary attack. So to do that, what we need to do is we need to update the tags in here. This is ability type action primary attack. So that works. It's already set. It looks like we set up Titan Stomp in that same way. When we activate this ability, we're going to commit it. We're going to control pawn. We're going to see if it's an enemy. And then what we're going to do, the interesting thing is if we run this now and it's set up right, this thing might actually play Titan Stomp. Let's see. Where you going, buddy? Interesting. It looks like it's playing all of the Vexera's abilities still. Like we don't have the ability set up properly. So let's check our pawn. It's using pawn data for Flying Manta. Flying Manta is using the, look at that. It's using the Vexera ability set, which is kind of cool because it just shows kind of the flexibility of the gameplay ability system where I can have another enemy playing that pretty quickly. So let's see here. There's that guy. Oh, look at that. So that's so if the elephant, if the etheric had been working, this is what you would have seen. Right? Where'd that guy go? Dude just disappeared. Oh, I have an idea. Okay, I think I know what happened there. That's a whole other system. We'll get into that in a second. But the cool thing is you can see that that's how that works from a gameplay ability system standpoint. So what we're doing right now is we're going to change this apply shield. So here's the goal. What I want to do is when this ability gets triggered, I want to get a random enemy within the radius and apply a shield buff to that enemy. So let's just see if we can get that to work. So right now we're going to get the pawn. We're going to get the location of that pawn. Get the actor location because this is the radius that we want to search in. And then we are going to enemy, I think it's enemy radius, get wave enemies in radius. So this is a helper function that I built. And the cool thing about this is it's way more performant than a lot of the other stuff because what it does is it effectively gets the encounter system is tracking the wave enemies, and as a result of that, it doesn't use sphere overlaps, it doesn't use physics, it just checks distance squared. That's what's happening here. So it's very fast because it's only operating on, you know, a handful of enemies that have been spawned. So the way this works is we get our current location, the center of that, and we're going to set our radius to something big. Let's go to cover the whole map. I'm going to say it's probably 3,000 units. And then what we're going to do is from that, we're going to get a random one. We're going to get a random array item from there. And that random array item, we are going to apply a gameplay effect to. We're not going to apply Titan Stomp. Let's do this. Let's try a stun. Because a stun is super easy for us to visualize. And we can see if it's working right away. So let's make this array. We need a set by caller. So we're going to plug in here a tag. This tag is what is going to set our duration, set by caller. So let's make this caller stun. Oh no, I'm looking for effect duration. Effect duration. What? Here it is right here. Why is that not coming up in the search? That's kind of wild. Let's do 2 seconds so we can see it happening. So it's going to, when this ability gets triggered, it's going to look for enemies in the radius. It's going to get a random one, and then it is going to stun that enemy for 2 seconds. That's the theory. And if we look at our behavior tree. Oh, dude, we're using the wrong behavior tree, by the way. We should probably update this. Flying Manta. And then also we're using the wrong AI controller as well. Jeez Louise. Okay, so this is going to be Flying and Manta. Flying Manta. Flying Manta. I do not... I want to be clear on this. I do not like what I'm doing with my naming convention, you all. This is super bad practice. It's a mix of everything, right? Look at this. The behavior tree starts with the prefix behavior tree, which is Unreal. Epic Games recommended, etc. But then the AI controller starts with the name of the character, and the same thing with textures. Like, actually, the set folder is not too bad, and our ability set folder. It's just our AI folder that's bad. Oh, here we go. This one's a great example. This should be just ASM for Anim State Machine. You know what? Let's just fix this. Leave things better than where we found them. If we take this and we no. If we change this ASM Flying Manta and just be consistent.
Is there a way to change the names of the files other than just going through each and every one of your folders to fix and that's the only way, right? Or
no, you can do the bullet battery name I just showed you. I could search, like for example, if I wanted to change, let's just say we wanted to do all of them, and in our context we did Anim _ state machine. This is all my Anim state machines. If I wanted to rename all of these, I could take all of these, and this is super dangerous, but whatever. Battery name. Wait. Batch rename. Okay, so here's our battery name tool. And what we're going to do is we are going to search for _ Anim _ state machine. So you see out on the right, it's showing me a preview of what it's doing. And then we're going to add a prefix, Anim state machine, ASM _. So now these would all get renamed proper, and we can apply that.
Right.
Right? So you don't have to like go one at a time. Also, remember, there's many ways in Unreal Engine to create editor tools, editor utilities that can search and do these things, and you can also write code that does this stuff as well.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, Flying Manta. This behavior tree is not being used, I am guessing, because if we go in here and we look at this, this is using the Vexera one. So let's change this to the Manta, just so we know we're editing the right stuff. And then what we need to do is we need to make sure that this thing is using the right AI, which is here. So let's go Manta. Okay, so now our controller should be correct. I feel like we're missing something, but we're gonna check anyways. There he goes. Actually, it stunned it. Did you see that? So those enemies that are changing colors, those are the ones that it's stunning. So we're getting there. Okay, so now what we actually want to do is let's do what we really want to do with this character. And what we want to do is, rather than stunning the enemies, we want to give them a shield buff. So do we have an easy way to do that already? Shield. This is going to take some look. We're going to have to do some digging on this because I don't know if this is set up to do the way we want it to do. So this applies a gameplay effect for the shield, and it does base heal. That doesn't seem right at all. Of 100. Yeah, so that's not what we want. Let's take a look at our oh yeah, that's even in shooter core. That's not even the right place. That's old stuff. So inside of here, inside of our abilities, inside of our gameplay effects, what do we have for shields? We have shield temporal backlash, shield 0, shield ruin range, shield temporal backslash. Okay, I know what this is. I'll open it up just to show you what we're looking at here. This is a shield. It gets applied. Basically, we basically set our max shield and our shield, and we make sure they get increased, and then we add shield values. Okay, but this has a duration. I don't want this one to be a duration. I want this to be a permanent thing where it adds it and you just get it. So we basically want this, but without duration. We want it to be instant, which is what it's called. So if we were gonna do that, let's, I think it's reasonable to have, let's check shield 0 real quick. Shield 0 changes the shield. Oh, it's an override. So you gotta be really careful with this. If you did an override, it would actually just override the shield. And what that means is, let's say you had a shield of 100 and the flying Manta came along and applied a shield of 10 more. It would reset your shield from 100 down to 10. So you gotta be really careful with this stuff. But the duration though, you'll see, oh, and this one's infinite. Oh my goodness, yeah, we don't want that one. We're not doing that one. So let's just take temporal backlash shield, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna duplicate this, and this is gonna be shield instant. Shield instant. Okay, and then what we're gonna do in this shield instant is we're gonna set our max shield, we're gonna add to the base, that's correct. And then in here, we're going to add to the shield, set by caller, same thing, shield, okay? It does not have a duration. We're gonna make it instant. And we don't have to worry about stacking, etc., because it's instant. And then what we can do is in our flying shield, we are going to apply the shield instant. Okay, we don't need duration. Duration is not a thing anymore. What we need is shield. Okay, and the amount is not 2. Let's do 100. I want to be able to see this thing. So let's see, do we have that set up right? Set by collar, it's looking for set by collar shield. You can see here we have set by collar shield set with 100. Duration distance shouldn't matter. If we get this right, what should happen is we should start seeing our enemies getting shields. There it is. See that enemy? He's got a shield now. That one's got a shield now too. Okay, so our flying enemy is applying shields, which is cool. It is not clear from a player perspective that that's what's happening. We need a visual. So we have 20 minutes to try to get a visual in to make it clear that that's what's happening. Okay, and there's also, since we're here, I want to address the twist that I wanted to add to this. So here's the twist. What I want to do is I want to, let's see here, in here, when we get our enemies, I want to also have it potentially help the player. So, because I don't want distortions just to always be punishments, right? And I think it's kind of interesting if this benevolent creature in the world also it doesn't care. It's just, you know, it's just helping everybody. And I think that might be a fun little mix up. So here's what we're gonna do. We are going to take our out enemies, and we're gonna change this to be possible shield targets. Targetes. Okay? And then what we're going to do from this is we're going to add the player pawn as one of those possible shield targets. So let's take this and let's add this. And then what we're adding here is our player pawn, which we already have. Oh, wait. Oh, we don't have the player pawn actually in here. So let's just do it like this. Get player. For now, we're gonna do this. We've talked about this before. This is getting the local player controller. Get control pawn. This does not work for multiplayer. All right, we need to do a bunch of stuff for multiplayer, but for now, this will be good. And we're gonna add this in. And now, when it gets the random one, we're not gonna get the random one from here. We're gonna get the random one from our possible shielded enemies. And then what should happen is it should potentially randomly shield the player too. So let's just check that real quick. We can go God mode. And then just to help our stats, we'll get rid of some of these bad guys. Okay. So you can see at the bottom I have my shield. Okay, so the chances of it randomly choosing me should be much higher now. Does our shield increase? Doesn't seem to be. I wonder if it's because I chose God mode. So let's try this one more time. This time without God mode, we'll let them take down my shield so we can see. Okay, so now we're getting damage. All right, last one. So he should either be shielding him or me. Right now, looks like he's... Oh, there it was. Did you see it? I just got 100 shield. So he can actually shield me as well now. That's cool. Let's see if he gives me any more. Yep, he just gave me another shield. Okay, cool. So that's fun. Okay, now let's do the visuals. So here's the plan for the visuals. We're gonna use the chain lightning, but we're gonna make it green. So we've got the chain link. Here we go. Let's see how this is set up. This currently uses damage spread. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Okay, so what that means is inside of our abilities for the melee attack, GA melee attack base. If we look in here and we go to spread, nope, chain. What? Oh, because it's not in melee attack, it's in ranged attacks. That's why. This should be range attack. Okay. And then what we should get is, this comes from the projectile weapon range. And then if we look for chain, is it? No, spread, maybe? Yes. Projectile spawn. Oh, okay, so it's actually in the projectile when the projectile hits. Projectile hits. In here. Hopefully we've found what we're looking for at this point. Spread. Okay, damage spread, here we go. So we have this event for damage spread. It gets all the actors, it checks the distance, it does a thing, it sets some timers. I'm looking for this V effect is what I'm looking for right now. Spawn system, spread electricity. Here we go. Okay. And we're setting a Niagara variable of the actor location for the damage actors. Okay, so what we want is we need this spread electricity, and we need it to have its target actor and then the hit. Oh, I see. Okay, cool. All right, so let's just copy this because we're gonna need this. And then I think in order to apply this visual, we need a gameplay queue notify actor, I think. Let's go back to our ability. I hate to make a whole new gameplay queue notify actor just to do this, but we could try doing it in here. Hold on, let's do a quick check. You're supposed to put all the visuals in gameplay queues. That's what you're supposed to do. So let's do this. Let's do let's create a new gameplay effect. This is going to be channel visual, channeling, gameplay effect channeling. Okay, and it is going to have, we're not going to do instant, we're going to have a duration. Let's do 2 seconds. And we're not going to do any modifiers or anything in here. I'm not going to worry about all that stuff. We're just trying to get the visual to show up in our last few minutes here. And we're going to make a gameplay queue for this. And then what we're going to do with that is we're going to need a tag. And the tag, we're going to have to make a new one. So let's go back to our queues. Gameplay queues. And this is going to be, sure, let's do, we don't need crit notify strike dash. I think impact might be a good one to start from. So this is going to be a game queue notify. This is going to be beam, link beam. Yeah, let's try beam. Because I want to be able to potentially reuse this. Let's see. All right, and then in here, let's see what we've got. We've got on burst. Yeah, we're spawning this location. So let's do this. Let's go here. Rather than spawning this system, we're going to spawn the beam system. Okay. And then we have, this is going to be interesting because we need two things. We need the instigator. So with the parameters, we get the instigator, get the actor location. Okay, and that's going to be the location. And then the hit needs to be here. So that's going to be the hit location. Okay, and now when we apply this gameplay effect, we got to make sure that all these things are set up properly. Otherwise, it won't come through. Now, there is a problem. This is on burst. This may not show up, and I'll explain why in a second. So when we apply shield, let's it would probably be cleaner if we just did this as part of one. So let's just go back here. And what we're gonna do, that's good for base shield. That's great to have for future us. But we're gonna copy this over here to here, copy here. And this ability is going to be GE shield. Don't like this now. I have not found naming that I like right now. Flying Manta shield. Okay. And the reason we did that is because what we want to be able to do is we want to be able to, down here in our gameplay queues, we want to be able to add a queue. We want to be able to add a tag. And let's see here. Crit strike. Electrocute. Do I have one for specific characters? Not character. Shield. Break. Interesting. We don't actually have... I think we're going to need categories for this. But let's just add a subtag here. This is going to be Flying Manta. You know what? I don't like that. Actually, I don't like that. Let's do this. Gameplay queue, character. Let's add a subtag. Flying Manta dot shield. Add new tag. Okay, cool. So that's gonna apply our gameplay queue that has the shield, and then this one is gonna be. Oh, we don't have it here, so we need to go Flying Manta shield. Oh, actually no. We want this to be the beam. Where did the beam go? Hold on. Did we not do that in our GCN for our beam? Oh, we haven't defined it yet. So right now it's called weapon impacts. We don't want that. We want this to be not beam, not weapon. We're going to add what were we using before? Impact, weapon, action. I feel like this is an action. I'm gonna put a beam here. Let's add that tag. And then down here, beam. Okay, so that's the beam. We need the gameplay queue to be the same, or the shield. So this needs to not be shield, this needs to be beam. Wait a minute. Gameplay queue shield. This is gameplay queue Zeraphine action beam. Thank you. Gameplay gameplay queue Zeraphine. That's why I couldn't find it. Zeraphine action beam. And we can get rid of this Manta shield. Okay. So this should instantly apply this. Here's why this might not work. We'll see. There's a bunch of things. There's a bunch of reasons why this might not work. But let's just, to test it, in our flying shield, let's see if we actually get our call in here. Let's see if we get this burst. Okay, we are not hitting the burst, but we are getting the shields. Okay, so why might that be? Let's change something and see if this is, if what I think is happening might be real or true. So this ability gets done. Let's wait delay. Wait delay. There's a couple places in this. So what's potentially happening here is the ability gets applied. When the ability gets applied, it instantly ends. And when the ability ends, it cleans up all the visuals with it, and therefore we never even see the beam. So we need to give it a second for the beam to draw. So if we put a 2-second delay in here, it will wait 2 seconds before it ends, and it gives it gives the beam a chance to draw. So that's one spot where this could be an issue. It's basically ending the visuals before they even start. So that's one. Okay, now you can still see we're getting shields, but we still have no visuals. So the second potential here is this gameplay effect that's being applied. This gameplay effect is not the effect that we thought we were using, which is part of the problem. So we want to make sure that we're using the gameplay effect for the Flying Manta shield, because if we're not, it's not even getting the gameplay queue tag. Ah, there we go. It hit it. Sweet. Okay, now let's see what happens. Oh, interesting. So it's hitting it, but it's I don't know if you all can hear this, but it's playing. Okay, it's actually playing the audio. So I'm hearing the audio, and the audio is part of the default here. There's an audio burst sound, so I know it's happening. It's basically playing the same audio as the slam down. That's a happy accident. We are still potentially ending this ability before it has a chance to finish, because this is, yeah, that's what's happening. Okay, so here's our Flying Manta Apply Shield. Has a 2-second delay. Here's our gameplay effect for this. You can see this is instant. Let's try something. Let's just apply has duration, and let's make the duration a scalable float, and let's do 3 seconds. And just see if that is what is causing the visuals not to play. It shielded itself. Are you kidding me? Okay, nope, that's not doing it either. So what's happening potentially is we don't have everything set up properly in here. So when we apply this gameplay effect, we're missing a bunch of things. So if we go in here to the setup GE, Oh yeah, our instigator is messed up. So in here, when we set, where do we set the instigator? Okay, so let's go back to this. And the character actor needs to be, this is the control pawn. Let's try that. Otherwise there's no separation. Where's our channeler? Nope, we're still not seeing the visuals. Oh, bummer. My suspicion is that this is potentially being destroyed before it gets a chance to draw. Also, actually, the interesting thing is this gameplay effect, this gameplay ability currently is on activate. Sets up the ability. You know what? Let's do this. Inside of that, let's just double check something in here. In our beam, let's draw some debug stuff. So let's draw a debug sphere. Sphere. I'm gonna draw two of them. I'm gonna make one red or pink, and it is gonna get the location of the instigator. And we'll make it 55, a duration of 2 seconds, and a thickness of 1. And then we'll draw another one for debug. And that one is going to get the location of the hit. We're going to make it blue though. We're going to make it a different size just in case they're drawing right on top of each other. Duration is still 2. Size is 45, not 4,250. Okay, do we see spheres? I don't see any spheres. So either they are drawing somewhere else entirely, we're looking around the world to see where these spheres might be drawing. Are we still hitting this? We may not be hitting the burst anymore. And the reason we may not be hitting it is because we changed from instant to, yeah, we're not hitting burst anymore. Okay, that's the problem. So when we changed our ability from burst, we actually are no longer using the burst. Ooh, this should be on activate now instead. So many things to keep track of. You all, how are we doing time-wise? We have a few minutes left. We're going to be trying to keep these to an hour in future. Let's just take all of this, go back, paste it in here, and then let's see what we got. Parameters should go into here, and then we'll go like so, and then we'll finish it up like that. Let's just let it ride, Vegas style. And if we don't see anything, we'll throw in a breakpoint. Okay, he shielded himself. Really? Okay, so he's definitely still shielding himself. Are we hitting this on active? We do. We hit the on active, which is cool. So now now that we know we're hitting the on active, let's bring back our debug spheres real quick. Let's see where this thing thinks it's drawing. And we have this location and this location. Whoops. These two locations. So let's compile those. Let's go. I'm gonna go ahead and go God mode for me. Okay, so we're definitely hitting this. And let's see where we find these spheres. Yeah, so they're drawing. You can see over here. The spheres are drawing over here. They're both in the exact same place. So what's happening is we are not getting the right information for where this thing is supposed to be drawing, which is why we're not getting our connection. So that's coming from our parameters, which is coming from our Q parameters. What's interesting is get the hit. Can I get the hit from this? Get the hit result. Let's break this hit result. Break the hit result. And let's say location. Let's plug that in instead. Let's see if that blue sphere moves at all. See if our hit result is good and it's just that our instigator is bad. Oh, did you see that? Oh, cool. Okay. So, look, it's not a total win, but it's something, right? You've got this lightning bolt that's shooting down from the deal. Let's see. Is it simple? Is it one more change? Is it like famous last words for me? I know you all. If we get, okay, so our hit result is good. What that means is in our setup, when we come into here, when we set the hit result, that's the hit actor. That is getting set properly. The location is coming from the hit actor. Interesting. So all it is that our parameters, you know what, let's location. This is, I'm gonna plug this in. We're gonna cheat this. We're gonna plug this into something that doesn't make any sense. We're gonna plug this into, actually it's not totally ridiculous. We're gonna plug it into trace start. Okay, and then what we're gonna do is in here, we're gonna grab our trace start and we're gonna plug that in to our location. And then that might just do it. Let's get rid of our debug. Okay. And then let's see if the beam of lightning comes from the flying Manta. It does! Haha, victory. Okay, cool. So it's much clearer what that is doing now. Right now, there's issues. Okay, right now what's happening is there's a bunch of aesthetic issues that we're gonna want to change, but we're gonna call this a win. And I'm gonna say, actually before I do this, let's just save everything. Oh, we're not gonna save the Vexera. We're not gonna save projectile base or BT. Why are all these getting updated? Okay, we'll deal with that in a second. So that did it. Now, real quick, let's talk about a little bit about some of the visual things that need to happen. Right now it's a lightning bolt. It looks like an attack. That's no bueno. Okay, so just simple things. Change the color, right? Let's make it green. Change the jaggedness of it. Make it smooth. Like make it more of a direct beam. There's a couple of things in there that we need to go back and check now. Like as far as we took, do we actually need to have it have duration so the effects have time for the play, or will the effects survive even if it's instant? Because if it's instant and the effects will survive, Then we can use the VFX to determine the time length that is reasonable. There's also a version of this where it's not instant, it's constant. So if it goes to channel an enemy, it creates a connection, it does not break that connection for some duration, some period of time, which also might be kind of cool. So it binds to that enemy for the next 10 seconds, and it's just adding shield the more it's bound to that enemy. So there's a couple of variations on this, but overall the thing is we got, we showed you all, how you add a new character to the system, just all of the ins and outs of doing all those things, the gameplay ability system, front to back. I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty stoked that that worked out. Were there any questions for the stream before we wrap this one up?
I do not.
Very cool. So for everyone else who's watching this after the fact, etc., these streams are meant to be a look behind the curtain. They show you kind of the nitty gritty and the details of everything that we're working on, the successes and the epic failures, which I tend to run into a lot, which is a lot of fun. But devlogs, those are more broad picture type stuff. These are meant to be more of like a tutorialized type thing. All your feedback would be great. Let me know what you think about these as we're working our way towards getting this playable game out there. My name's Kevin. I hope you all have an amazing rest of your day. Take it easy.